Greetings, welcome to my weekend market recap, 16th April 2022. I am Sagar Nandi, retired IT professional, swing trading stocks using the Q systems and techniques that I develop. You may contact me using my email ID tradingprofitably@gmail.com. I regularly share live market and stock analysis on my website sagarnandi.com, YouTube channel Trading Profitably, and Twitter handle Sagar Nandi. You are most welcome to make use of them. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. I am not an investment advisor. It is not a trade recommendation. Trading involves risk. You and only you are solely responsible for the outcome of your trades. I may mention about options trading from time to time. You may refer to the characteristics and risks of standardized options document from Options Clearing Corporation to decide if option trading is suitable for you. I use the Q systems for my trading. Most of them run on MetaStock and some of them run on TradeStation as well. This slide shows all the different Q components that I use. That was the last slide. Let's continue with a study of the global markets, starting with Australian index all ordinaries. In the weekly, the backdrop color is bullish, the shape is also bullish. In daily, we have a bullish color and bullish shape and a possible trend following flow long setup. Because all ordinaries itself is very close to the upper boundary line, I may avoid taking a long position in this index itself, but you may look for underlying strong fundamental stocks for long setups. Japan Stopics Index. This is moving inside a range created by trendline resistance and trendline support. Couple of days ago, it displayed the bullish headwind possible reversal signal, and on Friday, price tried to touch the trendline support and bounced up from there. The Friday's candle shape is indecisive, color is neutral, and the weekly shape is also indecisive. Looking at that, I will not like to take any directional trade in topics right now. What is my preferred trading direction and how will it play out? If next week price starts to go up, that means it will start to grow up after displaying the headwind reversal signal and bouncing up from trendline support. At that time, I may look for low risk buying opportunities. Next, China's CSI 300 index. In the weekly, it was coming down sharply, and now for about 5 weeks it has stabilized. The weekly backdrop color has changed from magenta bearish color to neutral yellow color, and this week's candle shape is also bullish. Looking at the weekly, I will prefer to take long trades. However, I will do that only after and if CSI 300 can break out above this trendline resistance. UK's FTSE index. This has displayed a bearish headwind reversal signal near the watermark pivot resistance and also the trendline resistance. If price can come down from here, then I will look for low risk shorting opportunities. How may I look for buying opportunities? That will be possible if price can break out of this trend line resistance. Right now, I will avoid taking any trade in FTSE until one of those two scenarios take place. And lastly, India's Nifty 50 index. Nifty 50 went to the trendline resistance in weekly and also in daily. And right at that time, I also looked at the market breadth using QH and shared the analysis publicly, saying that it was not a time to buy stocks in the India market. That was very useful because price has come down from there. It is still having higher low and higher high. Therefore, it is not in a downtrend. If price can go up next week, then we may look for a buy setup. That was a look at the global markets. Some of the markets I am going to prefer taking a short trade. Some of them I am going to prefer taking a long trade. Overall, if I want to know the health of the global market, I can check that out using the global index, custom index. That is inside a range created by trendline resistance, trendline support, also created by watermark pivot resistance and support. It is inside a box and a wide triangle. Inside that range, it is closer to the upper edge. Therefore, my preferred trading direction will be downward bearish, provided this trendline support can be broken. Now, that was a look at the global markets, and I mentioned that in India market, I am not willing to take long trades right now. That was based on the Nifty 50 market index study, but I'd like to show you one stock that came to my attention, that is an electric appliances stocks. And this kind of analysis you are able to apply in any country, any market. This is Bajaj Electric. Let's look at it using weekly, daily at a glance template. I want to show a pattern. This is an India market, and later on I will show how I traded the exact same pattern in the USA market on Friday. Now look at Bajaj Electric. Though the India market index was at a higher price level and rolled over in last couple of days, Bajaj Electric in the daily chart, instead of rolling over, it started to go up. And it is very close to breaking this trend line resistance in both daily and weekly. If it can successfully break out to the upside, then it may give a low risk buying opportunity. Though this is a breakout candidate, the risk will be small because the triangle is coming to the tip. The stop may be just below the trendline support. Now, why did I look at Bajaj Electric? India recorded the hottest month of March in last more than 100 years. And when that is the situation, many people are going to buy air cooler, air conditioning systems, fans, etc. And I was interested to look at some of the household appliances stocks and check their seasonality. And Bajaj Electric is a household name, reputed company, and I am analyzing its seasonality now using Q season. Check out the seasonality in this month of April. March recorded the hottest day, hottest month in last 100 years in India. And I see in April, Bajaj Electric has 100% bullish seasonality. So in this case, I looked at the weather and then wanted to look at household appliances products stocks, found Bajaj Electric, which had 100%, which has actually 100% bullish seasonality in April. And then I looked at the chart. As I showed in the chart, it is about to break out. If it breaks out, it will give you a very low risk buying opportunity technically, and seasonality is also very much in its favor. You may carry out the complete Q360 degrees analysis, that is complete the fundamental analysis using Q Vital, and also check out its relative industry score using QH. Now, while this stock is about to give a breakout setup, after I look at the USA market, I will show a stock in that market which has given a breakout setup on Friday, and I could anticipate that breakout. I shared it publicly. Breakout was confirmed on Friday. I will later on explain how I identified that stock. Before that, let's look at the USA market, and I'm going to use TradeStation for that. Looking at QQQ, in the daily, we have a bearish flow, also shown here. The weekly backdrop color is also bearish. Does it give me a trend following short setup? Not exactly, because it is not having lower high, lower low. Therefore, it has a bearish flow. I am not going to buy QQQ on Friday, but I am not going to short it as well. The flow short setup is not applicable. It is not meeting all the checklist requirements. The relative performance line here is sharply tilting down, showing QQQ is underperforming the market. And the reason is here. If you look at the mega caps, not meta caps, it's mega caps, FANG stocks, extended FANG stocks. On Friday, all these FANG stocks came down heavily between 2.24% to 3.66%. Tesla was the worst performer. Facebook was the best performer, but it was still down by more than 2%. And QQQ, the Nasdaq ETF, is market cap weighted. All these technology stocks are, I think all of them are in QQQ, so they influenced QQQ a lot, and it was the worst performer on Friday. QQQ itself was down by more than 2%. So it was not a good time to buy technology stocks, and we could see that in real time using the Q systems. Now, if you look at the other market ETFs here, SPY did better than QQQ, followed by IWM, and last came DIA. And I shared that insight publicly again on Friday during the market hours, showing that DIA was relatively stronger, and I explained the reason because DIA is not market cap weighted. So even though mega cap stocks are coming down, first of all, not all these mega caps may be inside DIA, and even if they were, at least some of them were inside DIA, DIA is not market cap weighted, so it didn't influence DIA as much as the mega caps decline influenced QQQ. So relatively DIA did better. Now IWM is also market cap weighted, however mega caps are not part of that. Mega caps did very poorly on Friday. So IWM was the second best performer. Still came down, but second best performer, and QQQ was the worst performer. Now, if I look at SPY, this also has a bearish flow in daily, bearish backdrop in weekly. However, it doesn't have lower high, lower low, so it does not have a trend following short setup, and also SPY is very close to the trend line support. That will be another reason not to take a short trade right now. IWM, it is clearly better performing than SPY QQQ because the daily candle color is not bearish, it is neutral. And not Friday was a market holiday. Thursday's candle could not go below Wednesday's candle. It is also inside a triangle pattern. And lastly, Dia is the best performer because the daily is yellow and even the weekly is yellow. Weekly shape is indecisive, moving inside a narrow range. Now, when you look at the market ETFs in this manner, you realize one thing, that though some people might have taken a big hit last week, who would have taken a big hit? Those who traded mega caps on the long side, or in general, those who traded growth stocks. But if you look at the market ETFs, none of them are actually giving a short setup as of the weekend. That means market is not so bearish, and several of them are inside triangle pattern, is moving sideways, not bearish, not bullish, but moving sideways. Now, I mentioned I will share how I identified a breakout candidate in the USA market on Friday. That was based on looking at the market indices using real-time charts, the Russell 2000, Dow Jones Industrials, Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500. Relatively speaking, Dow Jones Industrials was the strongest. When I saw that, I went to Q index, and let me go there, and did a constituent analysis of Dow Jones Industrials. I typed the index.dji and QIndex did a constituent analysis. One of the stocks was Caterpillar. You can see here Caterpillar. And I looked at the stock's fundamentals. Fundamentals were looking good. I shared it publicly, as I always do before knowing the result, under this 360 degrees trading ideas category, sagarnandi.com website. This was the post, public post. I shared on April 14th. You see the time, 11:35 a.m. If you study the market ETFs, you will notice that after this time, after 11:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Dow Jones Industrials ETF also came down. However, this stock did not. But before going into that, how Caterpillar closed, let's look at what I shared in the morning session. I did the Q index analysis on Dow Jones Industrials and found Caterpillar as a strong stock, carried out the 360 degrees analysis. This is what I found as of around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Construction, machinery and heavy trucks industry, that is the industry of Caterpillar, was relatively strong, and the industry was showing some acceleration over 2 days and 5 days. So industry allowed me to buy. I'm trying to align now forces from different dimensions. As of that time, though mega caps were coming down, QQQ was weak, SPY was weak, Caterpillar was up by more than 3%, 3.19%. Medium valuation, however, high growth. In Q systems and techniques, I am allowed to buy based on either valuation or growth. So this was allowing me to buy based on growth. On top of that, funds are bullish, robust earnings quality, which is of interest now because we are in the earnings season. The earnings due date is 28th April, still enough distance away to take a long trade. Time 62% of peer stocks in Caterpillar's industry were up. So industry fundamentals both allowed me to buy, and I looked at the chart. Now, in terms of breakout, in technical analysis, there are different kinds of breakouts. One that I use heavily in Q techniques is trend line breakout. And in this case, I saw both weekly and daily charts had a trend line, and it was about to break out of the trend lines. So it was about to give a trend line breakout. Also, it had a cup and handle pattern, and it was going to break out of the cup and handle pattern. So this was a second kind of breakout that was about to happen. The third kind of breakout that was about to happen was using the momentum signals, a MOBO breakout from a squeeze with a Kahuna momentum signal. The bongo color turned red, and if you see the last band here, PSAR reverts to bullish color. So we had three kinds of breakouts coming together: trendline breakout, cup and handle breakout, and a squeeze breakout. That was a lot of breakouts coming together, and I shared the idea. And let's see how Caterpillar closed. It closed above the weekly trendline resistance, above the daily trendline resistance, and also above this watermark pivot. So it broke above trendline resistance, it gave a cup and handle breakout, and of course it confirmed the squeeze breakout as well. So all the three breakouts were confirmed. When I shared the idea, I also mentioned in the graduates club that I had taken a long position using stocks, and that stock position is having, I think, about 1%, around 1% profit as of Thursday's close. So I'm holding the stock. Once again, an idea I shared in anticipation of a trade, of course, before knowing the result, and so far it is working out. Closed bullishly, relative performance. And if you remember Dia, let's go back to Dia. Dia actually closed lower. So Caterpillar outperformed Dia, and Dia outperformed all the other market ETFs. That's how you find the strongest of the strongest stocks from market analysis, in this case market ETF analysis, then using Q index constituent to do constituent analysis, and then align forces from industry scorecard, fundamental scorecard, and look for a technical setup. So that was the way I identified Caterpillar in real time. As I showed, the USA market is not that bearish. Is that confirmed by market internals? Let's look at breadth total view that is calculated using all the composites as well as major indices. If you look at the yellow line, percentage of stocks above 50 MA for this composite index, it is coming down, and this I showed when it started to happen somewhere here. The yellow line had lower high, lower low. I started becoming bearish, and then I showed at that time using live analysis, it displayed the Hindenburg Omen alert in yellow color. Very next day, confirmed Hindenburg, then confirmed Hindenburg for 3 more days, 4 days in a row. So this was clearly a time not to buy, and you could start to short. And If you follow my Twitter posts, website posts, in this area I was shorting. I think all of them closed successfully with a profit. Interestingly, right on this day, the candle color here, which is Eureka candle color, turned cyan. Even before the accumulation count became 3, suddenly turned bullish. One day before that, on this day in the Graduates Club chat room, I publicly announced that I closed probably all my short trades and I started to look for buying ideas. And I did share, you may go through my website again, I shared some buying ideas at that time. They are doing quite well so far considering the weakness in. Now I shorted at this point very successfully, started buying right at the bottom. What happened after that? Very next day, after I publicly mentioned I started buying, we had one Eureka day and an accumulation count of 3. That was heavy buying. And on the last trading day of the week, we see price came down. However, it did not close below previous day's low. And more importantly, much more importantly than that, we don't have any distribution count as at all. So though the candle shape itself is looking bearish on Thursday, that was the last trading day of the week, under the hood, it is not at all as weak as one would think. There was no heavy selling across the board in any of the composites or major indices. So that is allowing me to remain bullish on Caterpillar, and anyway it seems to be defying the market weakening the term market weakness I showed using the market ETFs. It is not bearish overall, it's moving sideways. If I wanted to look at the market breadth of Nasdaq versus NYSE, this we are seeing for many months now. Again, look at the yellow line for Nasdaq level, the yellow line for NYSE around 45% level. So NYSE percentage of stocks above 50 MA is continuing to be about 10% stronger than Nasdaq. That is continuing for a long time, and that is a reason to avoid technology stocks. What was the other reason to avoid technology stocks? And if we wanted to look at the mega cap custom index, how mega caps did as a whole, let's look at that. This is mega cap as a whole. Now it is not bearish, it is also moving sideways. Remember my previous webinars, and that is my usual practice. When an instrument is inside a range, in this case mega cap was and still is inside a range created by watermark support, trendline support, watermark resistance, trendline resistance. When it is at the upper edge of the range, I look for shorting opportunities. So those shorts worked out quite well. I mentioned in the Graduates Club live chat that I did short some of the mega caps for fast trading. I don't want to hold the mega caps for longer period. They distort my position sizing. But I traded them successfully when they started coming down. And I publicly mentioned some of those trades as well. So mega caps, is it bearish? No, it's moving sideways. Where is it now inside the range? Right in the middle. That's a no trading area going to short. If it comes to the trendline support, I am going to look for either a bounce long or a breakout short. If it goes to the trendline resistance, I am going to look for a bounce short or breakout long. Now it is trade. By the way, I'm in Thailand in a remote town far from Bangkok. It's raining, started raining once again just now heavily. Not sure if you can hear the raindrops. I hope it will not distort the sound too much. I will continue. So mega caps are also moving sideways. I don't see reasons to be too much bearish, not bullish also as a whole on the market, neutral. Individual stocks may give buying opportunities like Caterpillar. Now let's see if that view is confirmed from other Q market analysis, starting with the very powerful sector industry stock advanced decline analysis from 1 month to 1 day. 1 month longer term interval is clearly bullish. Intermediate term 10-day turned bearish. However, the 5-day period has turned, overall we have to say 5-day period has turned bullish. 2-day turned further bullish. Friday turned bearish. Now I would like to assume that Friday's weakness was driven primarily by the mega caps, and mega caps influence the indices, most of the market indices, in an outsized manner that resulted in major indices coming down, and that is probably the reason of weakness of Thursday's market. Now if I see market is bullish on Monday, I'll be happy to look for buying opportunities. Let's look at the sector performance graph. Over 1 day, Thursday, 3 sectors up, 8 down. However, over 2 days, that is Thursday, Wednesday both, combining both, 9 sectors up, 2 are down. So though Thursday was weak, that was not enough to negate the strength of Wednesday. Overall, 2-day period is looking quite bullish. 5-day period bullish. 10-day intermediate period had some weakness, but monthly period is also bullish. So we may look for some of the sectors that were strong, that are strong over 2-day period to continue to do well. What are those sectors 2-day period strong? Materials, real estate, energy, industrials, healthcare, financials, consumer staples, consumer discretionary, communication services. We have a lot of sectors where we can look for buying opportunities. Now I always mention sector level tends to be too broad, so I'd like to look for industry level, strongest industries or accelerating industries, and then look for buy setups. I will do a top-down analysis, but before that let's look at the bucket analysis and few other angles. Bucket analysis shows how the stocks are distributed across their Bollinger Bands, that is overall bearish but not oversold. Oversold condition will mean the lowest bucket percentage here is around 30-40% level, but currently it is only at 4.7% level. So it is bearish. We can see from here 62% of stocks in S&P 1500 are below their mid Bollinger Band. That is bearish but not oversold. Now if we look at the last market angle, that is technical breadth, the weekly period overall signals bearish 58%, but we still have some bullish signals 42%. Reversals are bullish, strength is bearish. Absolute number of reversals are less than gap downs but not too much different, so together they are somewhat bullish, you may say. And we can see there is some bullishness. You may create your own trading universe, and that trading universe for me, for this session at least, I have used the mid-priced liquid stock. So I have calculated a scorecard of the mid-priced liquid stocks using Q Vital. Now let's go to Q Edge again. Now what I am going to show is how to drill down one industry at a time. So I am looking at security and alarm services. It is the strongest. Let's drill down to the stocks in this industry. From where? From my own trading universe. And it happens so that there is no liquid mid-price stocks in this universe. That's fine. Now you see what I'm doing. I'm going back to Q Edge. I have already covered this industry. I could delete it from the view. In cache, everything is always second industry. I am drilling down one industry at a time. Look at its constituent stocks from my trading universe, and I can see there are multiple stocks. Let's look at least one star candidates, and we have three. One of them is value stock here, and we have the other two growth stocks. In fact, the bottommost one, ARLP, is both undervalued as well as having high earnings growth. They all have robust earnings quality. The topmost one, bottommost one are also accumulated by funds. So if you have a look at the scorecard of these three stocks, the strongest one is ARLP. We could look at its charts. Now you could also carry out a peer analysis of ARLP. So I am looking at the mid-price liquid stocks, but before actual trading, I would like to do a peer analysis. So let's do a peer analysis of ARLP. See how the peers went up or down on Thursday, last trading day of the week. It's connecting to Refinitiv. Okay, it seems I am experiencing internet issues. That is because of the storm that is going on. Let me try one more time. No, I think I am experiencing internet issues. That is not uncommon here during a storm period. So I'll not carry out the peer analysis. So let's look at the stocks technical charts. Not sure if I'm able to open that. ARLP. There were several other one-star candidates. ARLP was the best in terms of fundamentals, but does it give a trade setup for me now? No, it is already at the upper boundary, that is too high for me to buy. I could buy right at this point when I had a bullish flow, that is a trend following long setup indicated by this band indicator, and that would give a trend following long setup. By now that has hit the initial profit target. Now I will not like to buy, it is already above upper boundary. That's how you can carry out the top-down analysis one industry at a time. Because of the storm going on here, I may have internet issues again, so I will not like to continue with today's session. In conclusion, I have some long positions, some of them I shared publicly. I am not overly bearish on the market, and I am not going to buy growth stocks right now. As and when I find more buying or shorting opportunities, as well, I'll share at least some of them publicly on my forums. I'll not continue today anymore. I'm afraid the storm is affecting the internet. Thanks for attending. I look forward to seeing you in my next public session, which will be during the next weekend, the same market recap. Have a great weekend. Keep safe, and as these live sessions show, my shared ideas show, there is no reason not to do that. Trade profitably. Thank you.